Good morning. It's April 14th. Here I am again, starting from a different location though. I'm on Scarth Street. Out of, it used to be where Central Collegiate was if you're from old time Regina, but now it's a condo building where we happen to have a condo, and Margaret Ann has been working there in her work from home efforts. So I dropped her off this morning and I'm going to walk from here, but rather than go straight home, I'm actually going to take a turn downtown. I have to be careful on these sidewalks though. So I'm going north on Scarth Street here at the moment. I was down here, not here, but further up Scarth Street yesterday, and I got a haircut, which was nice. I tend to leave haircuts until, I'm washing my hair some morning and I think, boy, that's a lot of hair. And then I go get a haircut. Now, we like to say we have a condo off of Central Park because there's a nice little gazebo here on the property here. Because this park up here is Central Park. So we literally have a condo off of Central Park. And I'm going to walk through Central Park right now. So I pick my way through snow and I don't know what else. At least I remember to wear my boots. This is Central Park. Quite a nice little park here in the middle of the city. Also, one of the cool things it has, this little hut up here is actually a tribute to a baseball player during the women's professional baseball leagues that they had during the Second World War time frame. We'll just take a walk over there. And so this remembers Mary Bonnie Baker, as you can see where she played, and there's sort of posters and things, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. It's really very nice. There's that, and then if you go over here, there's this obelisk, which is also for her. I knew I was on my way to what I dreamed of, and there are nice commemorative plaques around it that give the story. So if you're in Regina, I won't read the whole thing, but if you come to Regina, come check this out if you're interested in the history of baseball and that interesting period when the women's leagues, of course it was famously in the movie A League of One's Own, I think it was called. It came out. And again, let's see here. I've come to a fork. Well, my original plan was to go this way, so I guess I'll stick to that. There's a bit of slipperiness around, so I'm going to have to be very careful as I walk. So I mentioned yesterday I was going to start back at the beginning of The Tangled Stars, my next novel for Daw, and do some light revision and rereading to take a fresh run at where I am so I can then blast on to the end. Considering what's in the offing and the plot, that might be literally blasting on to the end. It's a space opera after all. But, why is this trying to get the... There we go. So I did start that yesterday, and I think that'll be very helpful. I have some nonfiction work to do today, and I have an interview. I'm being interviewed for a vlog via Zoom at noon, so got that. Tomorrow, I've got an interview with Jane Yolen lined up for the podcast. Somebody who's been around for a very long time, and oddly enough, I do have a connection with her in that she rejected my novel, The Dark Unicorn, which she had her own line of books, Jane Yolen books. She won't remember that. That was way back, I don't know, it has to have been in the 80s, because I was still in Weyburn, I'm sure. So one of the very early attempts to get published, and she sent me a very nice note that said, there's nothing wrong with this, and a larger house might be able to take it on, but it didn't fit hers. And so it was a nice nice note. I'm going to go walk down the other side just because of the buildings over there. Very encouraging at the time. That book eventually was published by a terrible publisher. It's The Dark Unicorn. But although the publisher was not a wise choice on my part, the book itself was shortlisted for a Saskatchewan Book Award, so it clearly had something going for it. I will bring it out again through Shadowpaw Press. That and Soulworm, my first two books, are both on my agenda for Shadowpaw Press. But I will want to give them a thorough revision and rewriting. Might even change the title on Soulworm and The Dark Unicorn. I might change the title on both of them. I don't know yet. It's one of the many things I plan to do, and then the time just goes by with all the other things I have to do. And it's hard to get around to it, as the old joke thing you used to get, which was a round wooden button that said "to it" on it, because it was a round to it. I like this apartment building here, one of the older ones. If you happen to be watching this on Facebook Live or on YouTube, if you leave me a note, I will see it and know that you're there, accompanying me on this walk. This lovely red brick building. Capel Apartments. Capel means who calls. And of course we have the Capel Valley not far from here. And the legend is, I don't remember the exact legend, but it was someone that, how does it go? Heard their lover's voice, Indian maiden, First Nations Indian, and said, "Who calls? Capel." So walking up the street, if you look over there, you get the back of the Hotel Saskatchewan and back of the SAS Power building. I gotta watch the ice here for sure. SAS Power building is under construction or under renovation of some sort. The whole front of it is covered in scaffolding, and even back here you can see some scaffolding. So, presumably they're working on the curtain wall, it looks like. This side is slippery. Always nice to find a bit of cleared sidewalk. You can see more scaffolding over there. So I don't know exactly what they're doing, but it's pretty thorough, whatever it is. It's these driveways where the snow is packed down that the footing is the most precarious. I'm not going to go all the way downtown. I'm just going to walk down Victoria Avenue here, I think, and then wind my way back. So I'll turn left here. In front of Golf's, one of our steakhouses. It's been here for a very long time. Over there in that building, the coffee shop in the bottom, Brewed Awakening, used to be called Atlantis. I've done a lot of writing in there over the years. Not right now. And in-person dining is off the table, so to speak, at the moment. But once it comes back, that's someplace I'll be back to write. So yeah, here's the front of the SAS Power building. I'll show it when I get a minute here. I like, as I've said before, I like the federal building over there. kind of 30s Art Nouveau or whatever you call that. Art Deco? I don't know. Maybe neither. So yeah, Sask Power looks like that at the moment. Nothing but scaffolding. There's supposed to be a fountain here, and I don't know if they've now permanently removed it or if they're rebuilding it or what's going to happen there. Well, there's Victoria Park. Maybe I'll take a turn through Victoria Park. Or maybe I won't. I think I'll stick to Saskatchewan Drive. There's enough ice around. I'd kind of like to just get home and get back to work, even if it's a somewhat shorter walk. So here's the Hotel Saskatchewan. It's a Marriott, like just about everything is. Part of their signature series, I think they call it. Here's the main entrance up here. Another place I've done a lot of riding in the hotel lounge. The two closed at the moment. There's the main entrance, Hotel Saskatchewan. And the lounge is right behind those windows. So I've been in there long hours sometimes riding. Okay. From Ria. Oh no, snow? Yes. Yes, we had, I don't know, 15 centimeters or something. Oh, Victoria Park over there. The cenotaph at the center of it. There should be a statue of John A. Macdonald there, but they just took it down. I won't tell you what I think of that. And so there's the cenotaph, right down the middle where the Remembrance Day services are held. Over here, this is the Land Titles building, which of course was a very important building in the early part of the 20th century. It's now an administration center for sport, culture, and recreation, and the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame is in there as well. Over on the other corner is Knox Metropolitan United Church, where one of the auditoriums actually that's used for a lot of performances because it's very live and acoustically nice, and of course it has the organ and the grand piano. So I performed in there. I don't think I've ever gone to a church service there, but I've been in there many, many times for performances. And then First Baptist over here has a nice auditorium as well, the dome, which is a very nice performance space as well. Careful on the ice. I'm going to stick to Victoria Avenue just because the sidewalk looks clearer than the side streets does. Up here is the Balfour, which I've mentioned before. Very nice old apartment building. Actually, I think, at least when we looked at it back when we got married, this side was condos. That side over there was rental. And we really liked it. I mean, it's got a great entrance and it's really pretty in the spring, as you'll see eventually if I keep doing these. But alas, no indoor parking. And that was a deal breaker for us, really, because we knew we'd be switching with my mother-in-law, who lived in the house that we now live in, when she couldn't manage it anymore. And we needed a place that would be easy for her to manage, and a place with no indoor parking was not that. Not that she was driving, but, well, she may have still been then. But we were. We wanted that indoor parking. There's Regina City Hall over there. I used to work up on the 15th floor when I did a contract position as a communications officer for someone who was on adoption leave. Great view up there. Any tall building in Regina, you can see out to the edge of the city in all directions. So you can look out and see the prairie all around you. It's the provincial courthouse, I guess. There's another courthouse down the street. There we go. There's City Hall again. I think of that as the North Canadian Orioles building, but I don't believe that's what it is anymore. Not sure who the main tenant is. Nice coffee shop in the lower level there too. Not one I've written in too much. Morning. And a little bit of really old Regina down here, going back to Queen Victoria's reign. This, I think, was the cornerstone of the, or part of the decorative front of the original courthouse in Regina. So it still says Victoria Regina, who technically is who the city is named after, even if we pronounce it Regina. More ice. Supposed to be plus 10 this weekend, so the snow will disappear. Oh, this is lovely. Won't be soon enough. We're never too thrilled around here when we get these late spring snowstorms, because it's always like, oh, it's all done. And then it comes back. There was supposed to be the tallest building in Saskatchewan built on that corner. They tore down a hotel that was there about 10 years ago now. And then for a long time this was supposed to be being built, condos and a hotel and all that kind of stuff. And then, why did it decide to keep looking that way? And then they dug a hole, and then nothing happened. So the city took it back and refilled the hole. Somebody was charged for that. I'm just going to stick to Albert Street here. A little busier, but the sidewalk should be clearer for the most part. So not my most adventurous walk today, but on the other hand, this is kind of the heart of Regina. It's the Albert Street. Goes straight north-south through the city. Broad Street that I walked down the other day is similar, but not quite. Whoa. It doesn't go quite the same way. And this one connects to the major highways at both ends. So if you go straight up Albert and keep going, you'll eventually come to Weyburn, where I grew up and used to be newspaper reporter and editor. The Cathedral Social Hall over there is a nice area restaurant. I hope he's still with us after all this. Great selection of beer. I ride in there sometime. This is Connexus Credit Union Central, I guess. Credit Union Central to our left. I'm never entirely sure how credit unions break down, but there's more than one, but this is Credit Union Central. And Viet Thai over there is a place where we often get takeaway food. Up here on the left is main fire hall. That's red roof. See it? To watch my feet though. Oh yeah, the snow can melt again any day now. That would be just grand. I don't even mind walking in the snow. It's the freeze-thaw cycle that gets you. I think I will take off my hat. Getting warm enough. It's about -3 when I set out. Had a note from Ria. I don't know if anybody else is watching live, but if you are, if you leave a comment on Facebook or YouTube, I'll see it. Church over there, First Presbyterian, where we were married. Coming up on this fall, it will be 24 years ago. Hey, that means we'll have a silver anniversary to think about next year. Hopefully we don't have to spend it in Regina, but we can go somewhere else. Somewhere else in the world for our silver anniversary adventure. Oh yes, Excalibur Cat Cafe over there. You probably can't see them, but there are cats in the window. Oh, there's First Presbyterian. Margaret Ann's grandparents were staunch Presbyterians. Her grandfather was born in Edinburgh. They bought the house we live in 1939, her grandparents. So they were very handy to their church, and he was quite active in the church, and even set up some scholarships and things for people going into the ministry. So that's why we were married in First Presbyterian Church. I am not Presbyterian. Exactly, although the Church of Christ that I grew up in, its first congregations in the early 19th century were made up quite often of Presbyterians and Methodists. So I guess there's some sort of Presbyterian. And of course, one of the main figures in what was called the Restoration Movement that gave birth to the Church of Christ was a fellow named Alexander Campbell, who was Scottish, so you can bet he was probably Presbyterian. And then there was a fellow named Barton W. Stone. I don't know. I think he may have been, I don't know enough about him. It's interesting, one of my interviews on the podcast was DJ Butler, Dave Butler. And he has this wonderful alternate history fantasy series, which is set in like early 19th century or late 18th century America. So you have historic figures like Benjamin Franklin and people like that. Must be in the 18th century, 19th century, like I said, early 19th century. But a lot of the myths and legends and things are literally true, and I highly recommend it. Witchy Eye is the name of the first book. Anyway, Barton W. Stone, of all people, whom I knew from my church history, gets mentioned. Cromwell is like the really, really bad guy because he's basically a necromancer in this version, and is still not exactly alive, but powerfully undead. So I highly recommend it. Look for Witchy Eye. It's published by Bain Books. And Dave was one of the authors in last year's Shapers of Worlds anthology, which was the first one I kickstarted, featuring authors from the first year of my podcast. And of course, I just successfully kickstarted Volume 2, featuring authors from the second year of my podcast. Just waiting for the money to come in, and then I'll be doing surveys and editing stories and giving authors contracts and paying authors. I discovered last year that as an author myself, I really like giving other authors money when it's not mine. I like getting money even more. But the Kickstarter money goes entirely to the publication of the book, unless I overfund by an enormous amount, which I didn't. So I'll probably just about break even on the production of the book, not counting my time. If I figured it on an hourly basis, I would not break even. And then once the book is commercially available and starts selling copies, then I get to have a little bit of recompense. Oh, let's walk over here by the gas station. This is where I buy gas. Very exciting for you, I'm sure. That store right in front of us is called Specs, and it's a glasses frame place. always has these interesting billboards on the side. They're replaced regularly. The low brick building there is part of the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. It used to be the government telephones building. So there was a story a few years ago about something found in amber. And there's been a few times, and it was interesting because it was like international news, and I knew that the specimen was actually right in that building there. And that also used to be a Saskatchewan government telephone, SaskTel building. SaskTel has a building downtown where my wife works when she's in the office. That's just an office building now. And the other one is, as I said, is part of the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. It has labs in there. I've gotten to go in there once or twice. It's cool to see the actual scientists at work as opposed to just what's put on display at the museum. Okay, that's the end of Angus Crescent where I live. Up ahead, we'll be walking along that, and then I'll be home. So a fairly short walk today. For some reason, my arms get tired of holding this. I'm going to switch hands, I think. I don't do that very often because it's awkward, but maybe it's because I'm working so hard not to fall down. Just a few more minutes. If you want to leave a note to tell me you're watching live, if you are. If you're watching the recording, well, this one will be shorter than some, but hopefully interesting. It's always interesting to go downtown. I'm always a little leery of that because of the strange looks you get from people as you do what I'm doing. Although, people walk around talking to themselves all the time thanks to Bluetooth headsets, so. Oh, hello, Hong. Well, it's comfortable enough, but it's very, very icy. Always, as the weather looks nice this morning. It's not snowing, that's about all you can say. But I've slipped a couple of times, a little bit. Whoop. See, not paying attention. Stepped on a little patch of ice just then. I'll get across here. I might, actually I'm going to go down the alley instead of down the Crescent because it's actually recycling day and I haven't put out my recycling bin. And they usually come late enough that I won't have missed it yet. So take a tour down the alley here. Put this back on the other hand now. I want to put the lanyard back on because of the slipperiness, because although if I fall, is it better to have it attached to my hand or to just fling it off into the ether? All right, this is college. I'm walking on the road because nobody's coming and because the sidewalk is completely uncleared. Well, it might be less slippery in the snow. Davin School over there, now called the Crescent School, but we will always call it Davin School. First, because I object to renaming things for political reasons, and second, because that's where our daughter went to school, and it was Davin School the whole time she was there. Oh, sure, walk down the alley, he said. It'll be fun, he said. There won't be any ice in the alley, he said. You can see the blue bins, so, well, this was a terrible idea. This is way worse than the road. I want to walk in the snow, but I don't want to walk in the ice either. This is the school fence here on the back of the playground. And our house backs onto this alley, so as I've said, Alice could go home and still be saying goodbye to friends in the school playground as she was going in the back gate of our house. So it was very handy school-wise. And the daycare, after-school daycare that she was in for a while is also in there. That was helpful for me because, riding, and I couldn't always be at home. So it was very important to have that as well. Well, this will be a slow walk up the alley because it's very slippery. I walk in the middle. Is that better or worse? A little bit of snow usually helps with the traction. I don't think they will have picked up the recycling yet. So there's the school over there. They usually come about, I don't know, 9:30 or 10. Watching my feet rather than talking. Nice bare patch. I need to move our garbage bin back too because lots of people leave it in the alley, but we can move ours back inside our fence. But whenever it's left out, people put dog poop in it. So I know it's a garbage bin, but it's our garbage bin. Oof. All right, almost there. So I will, I won't leave you with the view of the alley. Leave you with the view of the school. So a shorter walk this morning, only half an hour. But thanks for watching live, and if you're seeing this on the recording, thanks for that as well. And I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.